Tracking pockets of rain that will impact the morning commute. This comes after a night of storms that left some damage in parts of the area. We'll get you caught up on the latest coming up.
We're talking about the power out. This morning, more than 1,000 people in Harnett County are waking up in the dark because of a transmission tower that was damaged. What we're learning as crews are working to get things restored. Plus, resolving emergency issues. 3 Wake County elementary schools are dealing with structural problems. The push from school board members to quickly find a solution before the start of classes. Well, thanks so much for joining us here, dark and early on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood. Hopefully you had somewhat of a good night's sleep. A little loud last night. You already heard the guitar solo. You know it is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We got my friend Chris Michaels tracking what we're dealing with right now and what's to come, Chris.
Yeah, so whether it was thunderstorms or that guitar solo, it's waking you up this morning. And here's what's new as far as this Monday morning is concerned. So there's some pockets of heavy rain during the morning commute, scattered storms into the afternoon, and all of this is going to be moving from north to south. I believe we do actually have some video, too, of some of the flooding that was going on in Smithfield. This was last night, and this is a spot that typically floods, but there you see it left the road closed for a time being. There was a flash flood warning in effect at the time. That is no longer in effect as we give you a look at what's going on the dual Doppler 5000. And you can see areas like Smithfield just dealing with some light rain, but it's heavier just north of US 64 there in Nash and Franklin counties. Also some rain that's starting to move in from Sanford and Pittsboro. That's going to start to make its way up toward areas like Carrboro, Chapel Hill, and Durham. Most of that is pretty light, pretty steady, but nonetheless could have an effect on the peak hours of the morning commute, hence the WRAL Weather Alert Day. But there you see it's just kind of scattered and randomly located. That's what we're dealing with for the morning. You may see a little bit of a drop off in storm coverage heading into the early afternoon, and then about half the area late afternoon into the evening we'll be dealing with showers and storms. That's why we've got the top of the tower lit in green. It is warm, it is muggy, but check this out. Today, our coolest afternoon since June the 2nd. I'll show you why that is an anomaly and when we expect high heat returning coming up.
Oh, I need a jacket for that, Chris. No, I'm just joking. But hey, folks, with summer storms that can pop up quickly, it's so important to stay in the know. Download the WRAL Weather app and turn on your notifications. Let's get to that breaking news we're following this morning. Raleigh police are investigating reports of an early morning shooting downtown. Let me show you a video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. We were at the scene at Moore Square bus station on South Blunt Street. That was just after 2:30 a.m. And that's where we saw the area blocked off with crime scene tape. We also saw what looked like firefighters checking someone out there. We have reached out to Raleigh police to find out what happened and if anyone was arrested. And then we went to this right here. A crash overnight left a car on its side in Raleigh. That happened around 2 a.m. on Glenwood Avenue near Willis 4th Street. That's just north of downtown. And Raleigh police say the driver crashed into a tree and the car flipped onto its side, but no other vehicles were involved. The road was closed as officers were investigating. And Raleigh police are also investigating reports of shots fired at an apartment complex. Let me take you to that scene there around midnight at Litchford Apartments. That's near Litchford Road and Old Wake Forks Road. You can see these police cars there and evidence markers in the parking lot while the investigation played out. Police say no one was injured and no arrests have been made. And a man was shot in Durham last night. What you're seeing here is the crime scene at Avon Crossing Apartments just before 11 last night. This is just off Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway. Police say no arrests have been made in this case either. We have not learned what yet is the victim's condition, but we are staying on that story here on WRAL. Well, this morning there are questions about structural deficiencies at 3 Wake County elementary schools, and this could force the start of the school year to be delayed for those students. Let's bring in Kelsey Coffey. She's live outside Davis Drive Elementary in Cary this morning. Kelsey, the school board is looking to take emergency action in order to address this.
Yes, Chris, they are, because the countdown is on for students to return to the classroom here at Davis Drive Elementary, and structural problems have to be fixed before that happens. This morning, Wake school leaders will discuss what's next for 3 elementary schools after engineers found a need for repairs. Engineers found problems in the connections between walls and other parts of the building at Creech Road Elementary, according to a letter sent to parents. Durant Road and Davis Drive Elementary schools also have that same layout, which calls their building structure into question. The most urgent issues are at Durant Road Elementary, whose students are scheduled to return to the classroom on July 30th. Multiple Durant Road staff members who declined to go on camera told WRAL the building has had consistent leaks, roofing problems, and HVAC issues stretching back years. The principals at Durant Road and Davis Drive say they moved their summer read to achieve camps to other locations. So school leaders will be meeting this morning at 10 o'clock. We'll be sure to keep you updated on what they decide. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
And we will have full coverage of what happens today and what the plan is for the start of the school year. Follow along the WRAL News app and in our evening newscast starting at 4 p.m. Well, the DMV office in East Durham will reopen today after it closed last month, and that was for a bed bug infestation. The office on South Miami Boulevard has been closed for more than 2 weeks. DMV management says that a customer came into the office with bed bugs, and another customer told staff about this exposure. The DMV says the building was re-inspected late last week, and they got that all clear to reopen. Well, flags are flying at half-staff today at the White House, and that is in honor of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Graham died Saturday night shortly after returning from a trip to Ukraine. A preliminary finding by the medical examiner shows that the 71-year-old died after his aorta ruptured because of hardened arteries. Graham served as a senator from South Carolina for more than 20 years, and he was a key figure in the Republican Party and one of President Trump's closest allies. Members of our congressional delegation from North Carolina are remembering him and paying tribute to him. Senator Tom Tillis, for example, said, quote, Lindsey was a lifelong public servant, a tireless champion for South Carolina, and an outspoken advocate for America's role in protecting freedom throughout the world. And Representative David Rouser said, quote, it is hard to imagine Congress without Lindsey Graham. He will be sorely missed. And a special Republican primary is set for next month in South Carolina to replace Graham in the Senate. Congresswoman Nancy Mace says that she is strongly considering running. Mace ran for governor of South Carolina this year, but she failed to make it to the runoff in the Republican primary. We have much more about Senator Lindsey Graham's death on our WRAL YouTube channel. This includes messages from President Trump and more of Graham's congressional colleagues. WRAL state government reporter Caroline Yaffa also shares a story about her time covering Graham while she was a reporter in South Carolina. Well, a person is facing charges after an armed carjacking outside a Raleigh Walmart. Police say that happened around 12:30 yesterday afternoon at the Walmart on New Hope Church Road. Investigators say the suspect stole a light blue Honda Pilot, but no one was injured. We have reached out to Raleigh police for more information about what led to that carjacking. And there was a breakthrough in a cold case that has led to an arrest. 25 years after a woman was raped and kidnapped from a store in Selma, the suspect was extradited to Johnston County yesterday. Police say DNA helped identify 71-year-old Jamin Mohammed Al-Jassi of Michigan. He was arrested there earlier this year. His return to North Carolina was delayed while extradition proceedings played out. He is charged with rape, kidnapping, and sexual offense, and he is being held without bond. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at the scene of a crash last night in Harnett County. This happened just after 8 p.m. at Christian Light Road and Wood Lake Road. Deputies with the Harnett County Sheriff's Office and EMS were there at that scene. We have reached out to learn what led to this crash and if anyone was injured. Just a heads up, drivers, if you drive in Southeast Wake County, expect a detour starting today. East Garner Road will close between Auburn-Knightdale Road and Rock Quarry Road as part of the Complete 540 Phase 2 project. The closure is expected to last about 45 days. An assigned detour will be in place. Time on the clock this morning is 4:38. Remembering Sam Neill, the Jurassic Park actor, has died at the age of 78. We're going to look back at the legacy that he leaves behind. And getting to safety. Firefighters in Brunswick County are trying to contain a large wildfire. How a Moore County woman was able to escape the danger.
Yeah, the photos from that are wild. Meanwhile, here we're dealing with some pockets of heavy rain that will affect your morning commute. I'll show you when and where. And when we break this stormy pattern, plus, while we're not expecting any damaging wind gusts today, we'll show you video from Zebulon after last night's storms. 4:42 on this Monday morning, and a look at the rain totals that have been estimated over the past 24 hours. And you see the hot spots there right on the Wake, Harnett, Johnston, Wayne, and Sampson County lines. We had a number of flash flood warnings that were in effect. Those have since gone out of effect. But yeah, you see some of those estimated totals, anywhere between 2 and 5 inches of rain. And it's because of this front that stalled out to the south. You got moisture riding north of it. That's leading to more scattered pockets of mainly light rain. We've got a few heavier downpours, especially in parts of Nash and Franklin counties this morning. That's why today's a WRAL weather alert day, at least for the morning commute. Storms by midday are pretty isolated. They're pretty scattered, mainly south of the triangle as we head into the afternoon. This afternoon, by the way, is only going to be in the upper 70s in the triangle. In fact, we haven't had an afternoon that cool since June the 2nd, but it's not going to last too long. I'll show you when the upper 90s make a comeback and why that's happening coming up in less than 5 minutes.
All right, sounds good. We'll come back to you in just a bit. So we do want to get to some news that broke overnight. Actor Sam Neill, best known for his role in the Jurassic Park movies, has died. Neill, who was from New Zealand, died at a hospital in Australia. And his death it happened months after he announced that he was cancer-free. He had blood cancer that he was fighting for years. Neill found international fame for his portrayal of Dr. Alan Grant in the Jurassic Park franchise. He was also in The Hunt for Red October and so many other films as well. He was 78 years old. He'll be missed. Senator Mitch McConnell has broken his silence over his health. He says that he is recovering from a fall and a case of pneumonia. McConnell posted a photo yesterday of him at a hospital with his wife. He says he was taken to the hospital last month after a fall, and doctors say that he did not suffer a heart attack. McConnell says that he is in rehabilitation right now, and he is undergoing more tests to find out what caused his fall. He says he will continue to work on Senate business with his staff. Teams in Venezuela are still trying to find survivors of last month's deadly earthquakes, but conditions are becoming increasingly difficult. You see, searchers are working in high temperatures and piles of debris and pollution. More than 4,300 people are now confirmed dead. Tens of thousands of people are still unaccounted for. Firefighters in Brunswick County are working to put out a raging wildfire that's happening there. County officials say the fire has burned nearly 300 acres and is now 50% contained. WRAL spoke with Linda Dunlap over the weekend. She actually lives in Moore County, but she also has a house in Charlotte. That's where she and a friend were on Friday. They noticed neighbors evacuating their homes as the fire reached the edge of their neighborhood. So they drove about 35 miles away to Whiteville and spent the night there. They got up early the next morning to head back to what was left of her home.
The traffic circle was on fire that morning. The pine trees to the right of us, right on the road, up 100, 200 feet on fire.
How were you feeling in that moment?
Devastated. I never expected to have to deal with wildfire.
Again, that wildfire in Charlotte. Dunlap says that her neighborhood and the tight-knit community of people that live there, well, they were saved in part by the direction of the wind, and she thanked the North Carolina Forest Service and all of the fire departments that responded. Now, the Calabash Fire Department is recognizing a firefighter named William for his quick actions during the fire. As conditions worsened, William stepped in to help people, and that included parents as they moved their children away from the thick smoke. Community members have called William a real-life hero for stepping in when they needed him most. And I tell you what, obviously we got some rain overnight, Chris. Is that going to, have a significant help in trying to end this wildfire for good? Because, this is awful what these people have to deal with.
Certainly hoping so. It's the same system that's giving us rain that's going to help to give some rain along the coast. In the meantime, though, we did see some of the bad stuff with these storms last night. We'll take you to some video out of Zebulon. You can see the tree down. Authorities blocking the road, helping to get that all cleaned up. So that was on Pippin Road in Zebulon, and parts of the area were under a severe thunderstorm warning at the time. We'll give you a live look at driving conditions. This is on 440 westbound. Things are falling pretty lightly for the time being. And as we go through the morning, we'll continue to see showers getting close to the belt line there. In fact, you can see that right now on dual Doppler 5000. Got some light rain showers in Chatham County. They're going to start to work their way up toward Carrboro, Chapel Hill, Durham, and areas like Morrisville. Some heavier rain that's kind of sitting over the same areas like Youngsville and Lewisburg. So might have to see if there's any flood potential there if that doesn't improve. Again, north of US 64 in Nash and in Franklin counties. We'll broaden out the view a little bit. You can see some heavier storms out toward Concord, just north of Charlotte, heading toward Lexington, heading toward the zoo, and just some steady rain in Sanford. That's going to push into southwest Wake County toward Fuquay, Holly Springs, and Apex. So it's really about half the area that's dealing with rain for the morning commute, but that could be a little bit dicey, especially on a Monday morning as we're getting back into the swing of things. Temperatures, meanwhile, are about 70 degrees. Here we are, 9 o'clock this morning. And the overall trend is for showers and storms to lessen a little bit as we get toward midday. But as we start to warm things up, we'll see more scattered storms developing, and you can kind of see how randomly located they're going to be. This is what radar could look like at 5 p.m. By 9 p.m., still some storms off toward the Sandhills, but the overall trend heading into the overnight is for things to quiet down. Things cooling down today, 77 in Sanford, Fayetteville, 81. You're looking at Roxborough, only 75 degrees. That's not something that's going to last very long. As we head into tomorrow, we're back in the upper 80s. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, high temperatures well into the 90s. High pressure going to be the cause of that. Low pressure keeping things cool over the northeast. So in between, there's your storm track, which for the most part misses us to the north by Friday, but could start to change things up a little bit as we head into the weekend. So for today, our alert day due to the impact to the morning commute, the potential still there for some very localized flooding. As we go throughout the week, again, tomorrow is going to be warmer, and then the heat is on later this week into the weekend. Looking at high temperatures back in the mid to upper 90s.
I just wish we could keep that upper 70s. That's the coolest it's going to be for a minute, Chris. Thank you. All right, we're talking about $1 billion and billboards. Michael Jackson and Madonna making new headlines. That and more ahead in the Hollywood Minute. Plus, Field of Flowers. The flowers at Dix Park are at peak bloom right now. What you need to know before you stop by. We do want to get to you some breaking news this morning as a transmission tower was damaged overnight in Harnett County, and that has left more than 1,000 homes without power. Ali Kadhabar is there on Red Hill Church Road in Irwin in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Ali, talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of trying to get the power turned back on.
Yeah, well, we can see Duke Energy crews, they are blocking off all access points here on Red Hill Church Road, and that's because they are working on that transmission tower. You can see it is leaning over. We know from Duke Energy crews here that a car crashed into it around 9 last night. They said that they don't believe that person had any injuries. We are working to confirm that with State Highway Patrol, but it knocked out power to about more than 1,000 Duke Energy customers in the Irwin and Dunn areas. This is again in Harnett County. Now, what I'm noticing is that there is power in the nearby area, but it is a little bit spotty, all having to do with this transmission tower being leaned over. Now, they did say that they are waiting on crews to turn off the power lines so that they can take down that transmission tower. And then they said that they are going to put up a temporary pole and then connect the lines to that. And so they have a lot of work that they said that they are having to do. The outage map shows that they are expecting to restore power around 10:45 this morning. Of course, that has a lot to do with when crews are able to get out here, how long it's going to take them to take that transmission tower down. Of course, we're going to be following this throughout the morning. Reporting live in Harnett County, Ali Kadhabar, WRAL News.
Well, just days after its release, Meta is removing a new AI feature. The tool allowed users to create AI photos, turning the images into, quote, high-quality visuals. It also allowed people to pull images from public Instagram accounts, but there has been widespread backlash, especially from labor unions and talent agencies, calling the new feature a violation of privacy and likeness rights. Meta heard that feedback, and they say they are removing the tool because of this. Michael Jackson and Madonna are back in the news, and David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
You know what I'm after? You want to be the biggest star in the world.
Michael hits $1 billion. The Michael Jackson biopic has crossed the $1 billion mark in global box office. It's the first biopic to reach that milestone, and according to Deadline, the first film by its studio, Lionsgate, to gross $1 billion.
We deserve it. We deserve to be who we are.
Honorary degrees for 2 Oscar-winning filmmakers. The American Film Institute is honoring writer, director, and producer Guillermo del Toro and writer and director Aaron Sorkin at the AFI Conservatory's 2026 commencement ceremony on August 7th.
One step away from your freedom, one breath away from your discipline.
Madonna is back at #1. Her new album, Confessions 2, has debuted atop the Billboard 200. It's Madonna's 10th album to lead that chart, and she's the first performer with a #1 album in this decade who's also topped the chart in 3 other decades. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Madonna just won't quit, right? Well, today is an important day in FIFA World Cup history. You see, on July 13th, 1930, the very first World Cup kicked off in Uruguay. There were 13 teams there who competed in the tournament. Uruguay hosted the championship trophy that year after beating Argentina in the championship game. And the 2026 World Cup semifinals get started tomorrow on Fox 50. There is a match between France and Spain. And then on Wednesday, it's England versus Argentina. Both of those games kick off at 3 p.m. And the winners will play each other in the final on Sunday on Fox 50. Well, just a reminder, once the rain clears out this week, we are in peak sunflower bloom at Dix Park. I want to show you what the flowers looked like yesterday. The field is always free to visit. Dix Park is open 7 days a week from dawn until dusk. It's recommended that you park in Lot A in the flower fields lot. I went yesterday. It was beautiful to see all of those little sunflowers. Now, just so you know, picking or cutting the flowers, that is not allowed. But if you see right here, you can look how it is just very Instagrammable. Go there, take a picture, feed the gram, and know that it'll be a fun time for you and the family. Okay, so time right now is 4:56. Ahead on WRAL News at 5, we're talking about in need of repairs. 3 Wake County elementary schools are dealing with structural problems. How school board members are working to find a solution before the start of classes. And music to the ears. 5 on Your Side is testing portable speakers meant to withstand splashes, sand, and travel. The best ones on the market and how you could save money.